The auxiliary battery malfunction light is displayed in the instrument cluster in this 2010 Mercedes S550. I'm going to talk to you about what the auxiliary battery is used for, why this light is on in the instrument cluster, and the step-by-step instructions on how to replace the auxiliary battery. So the dealerships will diagnose and replace this battery for upwards of $400, or for about $50 for the part and 30 minutes of your time, you can do it yourself. Hey guys, my name's Jamie. Before we get started here, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe. That really helps us out in the YouTube algorithm and pushes this video out to more people who really need to see this. Now, let's talk about what the auxiliary battery is used for. What is the auxiliary battery used for in this car? To understand that, I have to tell you this car has two batteries. There's a main system battery, and it's made to start the car, run all the accessories just like a normal vehicle. It also has the auxiliary battery. So this little battery is a backup. What happens when the main system battery dies, you cannot shift this car from park to neutral. So having this battery allows you to do that because it's not a mechanical shifter like in old cars. This one is an electronic shifter. So by keeping the voltage going to the electronic shifter, you can now put it into neutral so it can be rolled onto a flatbed and sent to the shop to have the main battery fixed. Now, why is the auxiliary battery message displayed in the instrument cluster? Well, there's a battery control module that monitors the main system battery and the auxiliary battery. And when that module sees an undervoltage of this battery, it will display that message on the instrument cluster. 95% of the time, the battery is just discharged and it needs to be replaced. However, there are a couple other uncommon reasons why that message could be displayed in the instrument cluster. A faulty battery control module relay can also cause that battery message to come on. Also, faulty wires that will cause no CAN communication, a faulty auxiliary battery relay. I've also seen on occasion you buy a brand new battery and this may have been sitting on the shelf for a while and it just discharges and you put it in and you still have the message, you think there's something else going on when really the battery voltage is just low. So it's a really good idea before you install the new one to check the voltage and make sure you have 12.6 volts. So now, how do you replace the auxiliary battery? I'll tell you it's a pretty easy job. The average DIYer can get it done in about 30 minutes. You need simple tools: a 10mm wrench, T25 Torx driver, T20 Torx driver, a plastic wedge tool, a flashlight, and it's recommended to have a voltmeter of some kind so we can test the new battery before we put it in. Okay, the first step on the driver's side, we need to remove this trim cover. We're going to need a little plastic pry tool like this. We're going to stick it in right here and pop back. You can actually see a little indentation right here where the pry tool goes. So you get in here, you're going to gently pull it back. I like to get my finger in there and then just work it around. This side's going to pop out and the door is going to slide forward. So you can see these little snaps here. Those snap right into location, and then these little hooks hook into the back side like this. Next, we'll have to release the screws for the fuse carrier. There's two. There's one here and one here. That's going to be your T25 Torx. We're going to use our T25 Torx driver to remove both of those. So this just comes right out and is going to give us room later to install, which we'll get to here soon. The next thing is we need to remove this bolt here, which is going to be your 10mm wrench. Okay, so this bolt is what holds on the bracket or the carrier for the battery. Okay, after getting those removed, the next step is a little tricky, and that's pulling this lower panel down. We don't have to pull it completely out, we just have to get it down so we can access it. There's 4 T20 Torx that are under there that we're going to need to remove, so we'll need our T20 Torx driver. Okay, this is a little challenging to record, but I don't know if this is the best angle, but you're looking from up under the dash, and right here where this module with the wires are connected, on the back side of it is the battery. It is loose because we removed that 10mm bolt. We're going to grab it from under the dash, flip it over, you can see the leads on the battery. The red is the positive, the black is the negative. So we're going to pull those leads off. I know my hands are in the way, but there's the negative lead. The next will be the positive lead. Oh, come on. Okay, and the positive lead. It's important to grab the plastic part of the lead, not to grab the wire, because you might be able to pull the wire out. Now with that disconnected, you just have to pull the battery out of the bracket. It's kind of wedged in there, just like that. All right, with the battery out of it, you can see the bracket and where the battery lives in here, and then you can see the cables right there. So we're gonna get our new battery, we're gonna put it back in. Anytime I use my voltmeter, I always like to make sure that the resistance of the cables are good. So you can put it in your resistance setting, gonna check the leads. 0.2 ohms is great. Anything less than that is really what you want. So now we're gonna go to voltage. We're gonna take off our little plastic cap here. Negative to negative, positive to positive. We wanna see at least 12.6 volts. 12.86, perfect. So this is a great battery. We're ready to install it. Okay, black to black, red to red. And then on this, there's a tab right here. You can see the hole, that's where the 10mm bolts, that's how it gets mounted up. So we're gonna hold it from under the dash, and then I'm gonna start the bolt from the other side, from the outside of the dash, and get it lined up. This is the reason we took out the fuse block here, is because we can use our other hand to kind of get it lined up while holding it underneath and getting this lined up. We're going to check our threaded hole here. It's lined up. So let's get this started. Okay, so I'm holding it from underneath just to keep it from falling, and then using my left hand to get this bolt started. This really is the trickiest part of the whole job, just getting this lined up. Make sure it's nice and tight. We're good. Now it's time to put the T25 Torx back into here. I think it's important to say as well that you can use an aftermarket battery. I like to use the factory battery because for the extra 20 bucks, 30 bucks, I just get the reassurance of using a good battery. Now you can save some money, like I said, using aftermarket, and it's perfectly okay. Okay, that's all buttoned up. That looks good. Okay, we're gonna put our cover back on. Remember, the two hooks goes in here and here first. We line up our tabs. Give it a little push, little snap, bam, done. All right, the next step is to check the message and make sure it has gone away. Before we do that, I think there's a couple things that are important to mention. One is you can scan the vehicle and get fault codes for it. However, a generic scan tool, like if you take it to AutoZone or something like that, the fault code will not show up. And two, you can drive the car with that message on. The car will start, you can drive, and everything will be okay. However, it is important to get it changed, because in the event that your main battery dies, you won't be able to shift it out of park, and it becomes a lot more difficult to get the car towed, and it may actually cost you more money. So just go ahead and get it replaced. Now let's go ahead and check our final work. Okay, and the error message is gone. Usually it would say auxiliary battery malfunction. So the battery definitely fixed it. Hey guys, I hope that was really helpful. If it was, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I'll be happy to get back to you. Thanks.